My name is Jakob Svensson, and I'm working as a machine learning engineer for Altair Engineering. And with me, I have my trusted colleague, Demi.
Thank you, Jacob. I'm Demi. I'm working in Lund with the data and AI team here. What are we getting into this episode, Jacob?
So, what I really want to talk about and what has kind of been blowing me away, I don't know if it's blowing everyone else away in the same way, but I've just been like completely blown away by the Harry Potter Balenciaga commercial.
Same
for you.
It was actually Jacob that brought it to my attention.
All right, yeah.
I was just like, Balenciaga, Harry Potter, what?
Yeah.
And after I watched it, I have to say that I was blown away because that to me, I was sold. It was believable. I couldn't believe even the backstory that you had told me about, and I was just like, wow, we're in the future.
Exactly.
This is like happening.
For all the listeners who are listening out there and everything, basically what it is, it's the characters from Harry Potter reimagined as 90s Balenciaga models, looking extremely unapproachable and very handsome and nice looking, but also extremely expensive, like a very you can't reach it really.
Couture, like super fashionable, and like I love Harry Potter, and so that vibe, I was just like, wow,
it is so cool.
Wow.
But
sorry, didn't they do something to make it more like believable with the mouth?
Yeah, there's some sort of there's a bunch of AI tools being used to kind of create this video, right? So you have. One of the tools is just, it is the craziest thing. So let me go through a little bit of what kind of tools are being used.
Go for it.
So the first thing that you do is that you use Mid-Journey to generate these reimagined Harry Potter characters and kind of the images. So you create these still images with a sort of a generative adversarial network called, we can only access through Mid-Journey. There's a couple ones on the market. Mid-Journey is actually not open source, but this is one of the ones that you have to pay for, but it's one of the best, apparently, according to some people. We don't specify which is the best, because we're completely, not approached or prejudiced or anything like that. But anyway, they use Mid-Journey to generate these images. Harry Potter characters reimagined as 90s Balenciaga models. Then they're using another AI tool to kind of make certain parts of the image move. So you can just adjust if you want the character to move or the lips to move or whatever you want to do.
Okay.
And then what they do is that they actually use sound bites of interviews with the actors playing the characters on Harry Potter. Analyze their voice. You only need like 2 minutes or something like that.
Right.
And then using this audio model that you create out of the voice, you can make them say anything.
Okay.
So, for instance, they're saying, "You're a wizard, Harry," but instead they say something like, "You're a Balenciaga model, Harry," or something like that with Harry's voice. They could just analyze this.
Wow.
I don't know if have you also seen that they are recreating a bunch of music now, where you have famous songs being sung by other artists, but the artist's voice is being AI generated.
No.
For instance, you have like Wonderwall being sung by Kanye West. Is a really big thing. And you have like the thing is that you really don't need a lot of voice material to imitate someone's voice. So that's why they can just like add it into any kind of music. Do you really release any new music?
So what you're saying is like, fast forward, somebody's going to do podcasts of Jacob. Like, you don't need a lot of material.
Exactly. Because we're so characteristic and easy to imitate, I guess. So it's just going to be like ChatGPT writing the whole script, and then they can just use our audio to
just
create
for
this.
Our listeners, nothing here was ChatGPT.
No, exactly.
This is just like Jacob and Demi.
Yeah, we're very specific that we're not using ChatGPT for anything here, because I think our listeners are just going to enjoy our own kind of stupidity and us failing at sort of producing a podcast more than ChatGPT.
Exactly. I think there's a beauty in the imperfection.
Exactly.
So,
or maybe that's exactly what ChatGPT wants you to think. What if it is all as fake? You don't know. It's crazy. Yeah.
Good point. But so what is your, if we just go back to the ad, like, what are your thoughts after like seeing the ad and then just like listening to the discussion?
I mean, it's just such a perfect thing to be in sort of the public zeitgeist, like a way to talk about it. I think from sort of a commercial, also from a marketing perspective, it's sort of the best thing that could happen
Absolutely.
to Balenciaga. And
They needed it.
Yeah. With all the sort of the controversy that's been surrounding the company now for the latest time. But it's also like, I think it all played into Balenciaga's hands, because it's not only they had this sort of controversy with pedophilia, with sort of I guess it was like teddy bears being sort of sexualized for kids, with BDSM kind of theme on those teddy bears. But I think that controversy, I mean, it is sick. I don't think it's very weird, but that controversy also makes Balenciaga seems so unapproachable and so turned away from like the real world. Like these people who wear Balenciaga or are part of the Balenciaga team, they just seem like these people are in a different world. They don't exist on the same plane. No. Yeah. So when the commercial comes out and it's these like, they look just so weird and out of this world.
That's a good point. I never connected it in those.
No, but I think everyone is like.
Yeah.
And I mean, we were at a Balenciaga store the other day, right?
In Copenhagen,
And it just feels unapproachable. You have these kind of like concrete walls, and it's like you don't feel like you should be there almost.
No.
You compare that to like an H&M store where you're just like, oh hey, they like shake your hand when you get into the store and like please.
Although like I mean we did chat about this, like these luxury brand stores. I mean I really don't care because I've been in far too many that I like to admit. And I mean, at the end of the day, they have a job to do. Like, they have to sell you stuff. So the fact that they were not approaching us, they didn't know who we were or what we were going to do. So I have that kind of attitude, you know. If you know the Pretty Woman movie, like that whole...
you can go wherever you want.
Exactly. And they should never judge anyone because they don't know what you're going to...
Okay, in the Pretty Woman movie, she still buys the dress, doesn't she?
She does. As a, you know what? Hello, do you remember me? Do you remember? Like, 'cause she didn't get served and treated in the way that she should have. And she only did that to go back to the store to say to that lady, be careful who you judge.
But isn't that the issue? Balenciaga tries to give an image of it as, you are not welcome here. We are too cool and fancy for you. And if you fall for it and you actually go buy the stuff, then their tactic worked on you.
That's
they
true.
They want to make it seem like you're not...
you see, I think, like... Okay, now we're really going on some themes here. I love, you know, having discussions about luxury brands, right? I am very much for it. But I do question, you know, why people buy a certain brand, right? So... For me, it's a nostalgia feeling because I'm brought up in where my dad did a lot. He was a bit of a crazy person in terms of like, so he had his own businesses and he would get my mom these beautiful gifts. Okay. And we got them as family.
Oh, is it? So all your sisters.
So I have some of those brands, and so when I go and I purchase it with my own money, it's kind of connected to that. You know that not that I'm saying everybody needs that kind of story. No. But it is like, you know, how do you say, so the new rich about I don't want to judge anybody. I mean, that's really not my job, but it's like you said, talking about Balenciaga, it's like I didn't feel a connection there in the store, like to purchase anything. Like I did think that the sneakers that they had were not the ones that you said.
Oh, the one with the round.
The round little but I wasn't feeling it. It wasn't really my vibe. Yeah. And I think like I don't know. You know, they're obviously before the controversy they did do a lot of things right. Yeah. I mean, it is a huge brand. Yeah. But for me personally, I think you're allowed to be like same thing with champagne. Approachable. With champagne houses. I do look at it like I don't, you know, drink a Moet. No. I have other, you know, there's other way better, you know, brands, but they're maybe not marketed or maybe not as big as, you know, so I think like you just gotta find your what you like.
But I mean, within the modeling community, it is kind of known that Balenciaga is the unapproachable brand. This is the difficult brand. You're not supposed to be here. They want to have sort of an exclusive.
You've like done some other kind of research there because I did not know that they were like that's what that they were going going for that.
No, it is. But I don't know if you've seen this movie Triangle of Sadness. It's like a standing joke that like Balenciaga. This is the difficult thing. This is not like a thing where you're supposed to come. You're not. The thing is that you're not invited. That's what makes it cool. That is what makes it so difficult in the whole thing.
Okay, so but then you go and you buy the bag or you buy and then
and then you're part of it. But then you're a part of sort of an exclusive club. A weird club that likes BDSM teddy bears or whatever you'd like. This is like rich people stuff. They're just weird, I guess.
That was a very bad scenario for them because they tried to shove it off on the ad agency and stuff like that. And it's like everybody was like,
oh, but I didn't do it. I'm not an idiot.
Exactly, and that is like, it never works like that in a big company. Like somebody's in charge that comes from Balenciaga and they have to approve or not approve. And somebody approved of it.
Yeah.
And so you can't like say, oh, sorry,
not my fault. I'm not part of it anymore here.
But no, I wasn't aware of that whole like it was that exclusive
that's what I heard. I'm not I don't hang out in this places.
Look, who am I to say? Because they're obviously doing something, or I'm talking like, okay, so pre this whole controversy and everything like that, and then now with this Harry Potter stuff, right? So they have like
but now I think it's bigger than ever. Like I see these videos, they have tens of millions of views. There's hundreds of the videos. People are producing them themselves. It's almost like the go-to use case for advanced AI usage in sort of the programming community. So it's like this is sort of a thing that people are creating all over the place.
I mean, and so where do you stand about this in terms of like, well, if you know how. I've actually seen some footage of people like creating these ad campaigns.
Yeah.
It's a whole team.
Yeah.
It's a
lot. You mean before the AI before this, like, aided?
What are your thoughts about that? Because when I watched that video there, I was floored. That was so cool. And then to know obviously that's AI and all of that, I kind of like if I was working in that industry, I would be like
shit. Whoa. Wait, can we swear in the podcast? Yeah, I'm sure we can. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think a lot of people they would be extremely scared of the whole, the job security and everything like that. Yeah, and I mean, we were talking about this before as well. My cousin is doing sort of a master. I don't know if it's a master thesis or it's some sort of thesis project for our school where she is. She's investigating the implications of having sort of AI generated art on these artist pages and sort of artist communities. So one way that these artists, she's drawing, but one way that a lot of artists are making, a fair amount of their money, they have different kind of income revenues, of course, but a fair amount of the money is usually sort of commission work. So that means that someone is paying you to draw a certain character or an image or a painting or whatever it is. You get a certain amount of money, you do a couple of these a month, and then you combine this with like Patreon or anything kind of any other service. But so a lot of these people are losing a lot of money and clients due to sort of the availability of these GANs, the generative adversarial networks like Stable Diffusion, Midjourney, DALL-E from OpenAI. We were speaking about ChatGPT before. So it is very interesting to see, especially a little bit of a community that is very negative to this technological advance.
And do you blame them?
Because they were struggling. These are struggling artists from the beginning. They're not. I'm sure there's going to be some rich people, but most painters, like most singers or actors or anything else, models also, they're not rich people. They are like in the 90% who are not making it.
Those creatives, they have a craft, and to like watch it like being taken over. Yeah. I mean, I would be worried because.
And you have sites that really are banning people for putting up AI generated art. They are really like, we don't want this here. We want to make sure that we keep the real artists who are making real stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and then it's kind of interesting because I love, I'm off like this school of thought where I love taking my kids to go to actual museums. So like in Paris, I love, showing them a part of history that's important. I mean, and for them to like be there, see it, there's a whole other kind of dimension. of learning it, you know. And so I appreciate, and so when you talk about that, I'm kind of thinking about
what is going to happen.
What is going to happen? And also, like, imagine the kind of, well, the really wealthy people then that have these beautiful art collections, right? What happens?
What happens?
Like, what happens? I mean,
what is it going to be worth the same? Is it going to be these? But then I thought about it, because it is very interesting when it comes to this kind of art. What is going to be valued in the future? Because if you have a certain style of art that can be easily imitated for almost no money at all, it is going to decrease the value of that art, no matter if you want to or not. Because I think a little bit like anything, like movies, music, paintings, if there is a technique behind how they did it, that creates a little bit of magic in your head. Like, you don't understand how they did it, even though you might, even if you're not like aware of how to make music or something like that, and you still hear a song, you're like, how the hell did they make that sound and this thing come together? I think that makes it more attractive to you to listen to.
Absolutely, because it's something that you can't put your finger on.
No, and like, how the hell does that work? I don't get how these things go together and it sounds so good, or it looks so good, or whatever it is. But then again, if someone then draws a thing, and you know the technique behind it, it's like, okay, it looks very cool, but I know exactly how that was done. It's not that maybe like, you know, these kind of street artists. Have you seen these ones where they're like, the first time I saw a painting like that, it's like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I love it. And now you've seen like a million of them. Yeah. And they just have the spray painting. They have a couple of techniques like smearing it out, and they have the, you know, what I'm talking about. And then, I mean, the value drops, right? Like, I know. It becomes like, okay, but the magic is gone. It wasn't that. It was just, they had a couple of tricks. Right. And that was how they did it.
I wonder, I do feel for the artists, because it's like, I don't know, I still, like, I would, you know, pay for an artist.
Yeah, to like do their magic.
To do their magic, because for me, I don't know how everybody else feels about this, but when I'm not saying like I'm gonna pay somebody to do a self-portrait or something, no. But like if I speak to an artist and they're gonna do some kind of painting for me and I hang it up on the wall, what I'm remembering is, you know, our discussions and the feeling I got from the artist. Like how much of that do you get with an AI generated piece of art? Like you do you don't get any of that, right?
No, not at all.
And it's the same thing as if you can connect the same kind of equation to buying a beautiful, maybe expensive jacket. Like maybe somebody in the store was like told you that it made you feel a certain way,
or anything like that,
something like that. And then
this
every
is
time
handmade by llamas in the Nepalian mountains.
And every time you put that jacket on, you're gonna be like, this is like, and it takes you back. So I think like in terms of art, people that have like maybe not even very wealthy pieces of art, but like very special stuff. It's special because they understood something about the artist, the story, and it takes them back to a time. There's some kind of relevance there, and I don't know how you would be able to replace that.
No, you wouldn't be able to replace that.
Right?
But also, the thing that is kind of interesting with these kind of AI art generators, now I'm only speaking about the sort of the image generation. Mm-hmm. There are certain things that the AI art can't really generate in a good way. Okay. And it's extremely interesting to see where those things are, because the kind of counterintuitive part of it is that the images being generated by AI art is doing stuff that is extremely difficult for a human to create. But what is extremely easy for a human to create is actually difficult for the AI art to create. So for instance, you can ask it to draw, I don't know, I've been playing around with these curves. I don't know if it's still the case, but I heard that draw a circle, just a normal circle, it can't do it.
No.
Yeah. And I've been playing around with these kind of curves, like mathematical curves that are very easy. You saw I wrote it. And it can't draw a curve. So it's a certain curve which needs to have, I think, 3 bends to it. It's a special like stress strain curve for material science. Okay. This is like the most famous curve in material science. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows how to draw it. You kind of need it for a couple of different things. Okay. And I was playing around with sort of an AI generation of this curve. Mm-hmm. And it couldn't do it. It couldn't figure out how to draw a curve that needs to have free bends in certain places. So when it comes to, drawing something with, ray tracing and shadows and like this extremely realistic, beautiful art, not a problem at all.
Yeah.
But when it comes to drawing a line with free bends, it's not going to figure it out.
But maybe that's just right now. You can't figure it out.
But I think what is happening here is that this is sort of where an abstract concept comes into the equation. It's a little bit like these kind of image recognition tools. They can, identify extremely complex patterns, and they can work through an image and stuff like that. But if you show it a cat and ask which point is to which direction is the cat looking, it doesn't have any clue. It does no idea. And it's just like these kind of these small things where human minds just are better at doing this sort of stuff.
Yeah, because we would know then to look at like pointers of the
cat,
where
is
like
the nose, is it pointing this?
Right,
so I saw some. There was some sort of show that you're not a robot captcha sort of identifier on the internet, and it really was like turn the computer cat to look at the same direction as the image cat. And you go around and it does the thing.
Okay.
So because apparently like a computer couldn't do it.
Right. Wow.
It is kind of interesting.
So it would be interesting to get your is a cousin, right?
Yeah.
That's writing to listen to her thoughts.
On the AI generated art and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I'm sure she knows has done quite a bit of research.
Yeah, and she needs to present it anyway somewhere. So
so she can present it here.
Exactly. Yeah.
And also we were talking about the Balenciaga ad. If you haven't seen it, we're gonna just link to it here in the video.
Yeah, it's the coolest thing.
We're
sounding kind of negative about the whole AI art stuff, but it is super cool. Yeah,
it is super cool. I mean, I'm not negative to it. I think it is sensational the way the technology has advanced.
Yeah.
To make something so believable. I mean, then well, what about like movies? And I mean, all these maybe scenes in movies that they don't want to do, like.
Stunts and
stuff like that, or raunchy scenes. And,
raunchy scenes. But I feel like there's no raunchy scenes in movies anymore. That is like not a thing. Like in the 90s, I thought it was so weird. But growing up, you had this thing like you're watching a movie with your parents.
Yeah.
Do you remember this? Do you remember the 90s?
I remember.
And every single movie, there's like a 30-minute sex scene, and they're like taking a shower and doing the whole thing. It's like, oh, you can't be fucking serious. Please, turn it off.
Super awkward sitting with your parents.
But it just to me it seems like such a crazy thing that in the 90s they were just like, this is where we want to see it. We want to have it in sort of family night when we want to have. That's where we want to have sexy. It's just the weirdest thing.
It was like the Sunday nights when the movies comes out. Why is this
Why
happening?
are they putting it here? Couldn't we have like a separate occasion where we can look at this stuff? Because I feel like why would we
not with your parents?
Exactly.
Any other time.
Yeah. No, but it wasn't every single movie. So every time you go to a movie, you're like, oh sweet, there's gonna be like a naked scene for a big part of it. And it was really like, but this movie isn't even about sex or anything. It's like about some commercial. I don't know, something completely different.
But do you think that it has happened in this way because it maybe costs more for a movie company to get the actors to do?
No, I think people came to their senses to just like, but people don't want to watch a sex scene in a movie they watch together.
It's not
with people.
really what makes great movies. I mean,
no. Well, maybe there's like a movie about love. If you're watching a movie and it's called Love on the Edge, like raunchy love, no, you wouldn't watch a movie that's called raunchy love.
We need to go to Hollywood, Jacob.
No, but like
we should make movie
titles.
If
you're watching a movie that is really about love and beautiful love and stuff like that, of course, have a sex scene. It's like fine, put it in there. Yeah. But you're watching like The Wedding Crashers or something like that. You're like, come on. This is a fun movie. But they're just
Well, I don't know. Like do you like Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
I mean, such a great movie.
It's awesome. But there's no sex.
No, but you see, but there is a sexy moment with it's not sex, but when Travolta dances with Uma Thurman.
Oh yeah.
That's a moment, right? And
yeah.
That's why I do appreciate cinematic moments like that with Tarantino. I just love his movies.
Yeah.
Because they didn't really do the dirty deed, but like that was a really like Okay, you rewatch that scene. Okay?
I know the scene, but I'm like,
but there
are you
was
saying it's sexy, or are you saying it's?
Well, the way they were doing the little
John Travolta.
No, I'm not into John Travolta at all.
No, I was also gonna say like that's specific.
But I mean, I think at the time, the movies that he did, it was like. Women did find him obviously quite appealing, but the thing is that they were
But did you? I mean, never.
I don't like.
No,
him.
He's not a.
But
very,
I'm just saying that
you know what I think?
Yeah,
I think he was more big in the gay community actually.
I wouldn't be surprised.
There's a big part
but he's a beautiful man. Let's just say.
He's a bigger fella. Okay, but anyway,
But they didn't need to do that in that movie, and I think that is like his craft, Tarantino. Like creating those kind of like that tension and.
Does he have any sex scenes in his movies?
I don't know. Listeners, what do you think?
Yeah, please comment below if you can think of any. Yeah. No, but exactly. No,
but
I
so
don't think
your
that's
complaint is that there's less and less of those scenes, or
I
you're
wouldn't
happy
say
for
that.
it?
No, I guess I'm sort of not happy, not sad about it. But I'm a little bit happy with it because I'm just like, why the hell would I want to have this right now in a movie?
I know that I definitely would not like. Well, if there's anything heading towards that, or anything like that,
if it's supernatural, and I knew that the movie was going to be about that, then fine, perfect, put it in there. But if it's a movie which I thought was a funny movie, man, I was watching Bridesmaids with my grandmother. Well, I should have figured out, but there's like a 10-minute sex scene in the beginning of that movie. Spoiler alert for and it's like my grandmother's like, okay, what the hell?
That's awkward.
That is awkward. And they also really like spread it on there, It's But I think it's just it doesn't. But I think it was more merged all of these things in the 90s. There was really like, you have a commercial for like a new sports bar. There's a woman in bikini holding it up. It's more like
definitely. I get what you mean. It definitely was that the Baywatch situation. I don't know if that's 90s or what
it is. 80s, 90s.
And the way that she was portrayed, I mean, I don't like that stuff wouldn't fly these days.
No, it would be more about the exactly.
What is it?
No, but I feel like it's mostly. I think just kind of separating it. That's a little bit more, so people know what they're getting themselves into. If you go into a movie and then suddenly in the middle there's like a violent scene where they're torturing people, and you're like, what the hell? Where does this come from? You want to know it. In the beginning.
Goodness, I have to say, like a total like a. Contra of what you're saying. There's this movie, I don't know, you guys have to help with the title. It's with J-Lo and this other dude. It's released this year, I think, and it's they're getting married. They're getting like she's always getting
it's an action
married
movie or something like that.
She's always getting married in movies. J-Lo,
she's
right?
getting married to Matthew McConaughey in a movie.
But this one was some other guy. He's quite funny, and but this was kind of fun. There's no sex scenes there, but it was totally like not what you were expecting for a wedding movie. And I actually thought it was. I appreciated it. I'm not a big J-Lo fan, but there was some real like action scenes in that, and you just want to be like, how are they going to make it through this? Like,
nice.
Yeah, so that was a good movie
tip.
A good movie tip. But
nice.
No sex scenes. Sorry, Jacob.
No,
not sorry. I don't know.
Well, exactly. But okay,
but
I'm fine
AI
with it. That's not like I'm gonna go and protest. Like, hey, but stop it, J-Lo. But it's like it's
No, but the interesting part about how AI, like, if we're gonna get back to the let's
take it back. Just a smooth segue. Yeah, exactly.
No, but I was just thinking about like how good the ad was, like Harry Potter Balenciaga. Like, is this what it's gonna be for movies? Like, I'm kind of interested because it's like, well, I don't know if I believed all the now that I've watched all the Mission Impossible movies, but like you kind of know that for big movies there are like stunt people and all of that. Yeah. But now a lot of things are going to be kind of questionable, because what should you believe?
Exactly.
Right?
That is completely. Maybe this thing goes like the complete other way. You're just like, okay, but movies is just bullshit. It doesn't work. So now we're gonna watch theater. We're just gonna see if they fight there instead. Yeah.
Would you go to theater though?
Well.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's the only place, but I don't know if I want to see. I guess I would go to like wrestling. Then I guess.
Wrestling.
Then you see actual violence because it's
in Vegas.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
No, I guess there would be like a lot of. a lot of movie. Yeah, it would be cool. But I mean, imagine if you see the first completely AI generated movie. That would be so cool.
And that I'm sure is coming.
Yeah,
it has to be, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
That would be crazy. But it would also kind of ruin the whole thing. But I guess that is what's happening.
And it's going to be up for debate because it's like, again, like I say, I was totally bored on that. Well, bored. Now I know the thing. So it's like
fake.
But if the technology is there, and it clearly is, and you get a group of really like knowledgeable people together to make something magical. Yeah. Well, look at Disney, what they're creating. Yeah. Right? I mean, they are really like pushing all of, every... Or you're not...
Yeah, no, I agree with it. Yeah.
We're like moving from like the sexy scenes to Disney.
No, but I mean, they are very creative. And I mean, I've been meeting a couple of Disney people at different conferences we've gone to.
Really?
They are, they're not... I don't know if they're using our software and stuff, but they are using sort of the same sort of infrastructure for doing the simulations of smoke and explosions and different kind of... they're building this... the movie industry is sort of a big part of this simulation and data analytics part.
No, I love Disney.
They're really nice.
And I recently saw that they've I don't know if you saw this robot that they had created that is based, it looks like the character from the movie Zootopia. It's the bunny.
All right.
I don't know if you've watched it.
Yeah, I've seen Zootopia. Yeah, exactly.
So it's the cute
little... spoilers. Sort of.
Yeah, no spoilers. But this robot is based off that of the bunny, and so what they show you in this little clip, and I guess we'll also share this. Yeah. How this bunny is able to skate on a skateboard, I think it was, or rollerblades or something like that.
What?
Fall, right, and then learn how to get up again and carry on. And I was like, I showed my kid this, right, and she was like, "Mom, this is so cool. Where do we buy it?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, darling.
Don't tell my girlfriend. She wants a bunny more than anything in the world. I can't have a robot bunny at home."
But it was really cool to watch that. Wow, people are actually making those kind of things happen, and I don't think it will be too long. That's going to be merchandise. Yeah. I mean, wow. Can you imagine?
Getting a robot bunny and stuff like that, yeah.
Total cuteness of watching the girl bunny like do these like moves.
But I mean, wasn't that... Have you seen Terminator? I feel like that's how that movie started. They have the robot bunnies and they build robot humans and then... Arnold Schwarzenegger.
We need to get the robot bunny and Terminator together. So
it's going way too far.
That's a movie.
Yeah, exactly. So, showing the progression from the robot bunny to the term, like how that natural.
Yeah. I mean, it was totally cool to watch the video because I wish I could have been in the crowd because you saw everybody like wow, because you saw it fall and do like she did like these kind of maneuvers. That were you're like, oh wow, she fell and she's doing this like picking herself up again, like we would if we'd fall or something. So it was kind of,
but it did look
believable.
Cool and believable. Because I've also seen these things where it's like, have you seen these? There was a big thing a couple of years ago with the robots playing soccer.
Isn't that Google?
It's all over. Everyone is doing. All universities. There's like there's a robot championship in soccer, and the whole thing was like, robots getting so good at soccer that in 20 years we're gonna have a robot soccer team that is better than the male world champion soccer player.
So, but are you talking about because whether it is Google or I shouldn't mix up those companies, but they actually have like teams of people that have made these robots playing on a field, and so they've taught the robots. I mean, it's several of them, like an actual team playing on a field. And so they're learning the moves based off of the actual like stars. And then they better the moves every single time something goes wrong or.
But
are we talking about the same thing?
Well, they are terrible, these robots.
No, they were not good. They were not good.
So bad. No. And I've watched them for 5 years or something like that now. They're not getting that much better. They really are terrible. So I was just thinking, like, because it's such a, like, they always predict, like, in 5 seconds we're going to have a million robots doing all of our stuff. And, like, it never worked.
I mean, well, the clip that I'd seen, I mean, it didn't look anything impressive. Because it was kind of, when you said Terminator, it looked like these kind
small Terminator that is like...
it was kind of freakish, actually. But the people working with it, I found it really like interesting to look at, wow, that must take some real dedication because they were not looking successful.
No.
But then, I mean, I guess, would they ever be as good as the legends?
When I was seeing it and how it's been developing, it's just like, give up already. I mean, it was so bad. But I mean, it also very good job. I mean, you applaud them, you get a gold star, but I mean, work on something, because I feel like sometimes maybe they're.
But what is the actual point of that? Because now it was some weeks. I don't know when exactly I saw that, but I was just trying to wonder like, why are they doing that then? Is that to kind of train teams, or is that to replace something? Because for me, I mean, I don't know how many matches and things you've been to, but it's so cool to go and watch like an actual team, even if you're not supporting the team. Like, it's so cool to like be in that vibe. So I don't know, what is the point? Maybe somebody can correct me about that.
But someone told a really cool. Well, I don't know if it's like story or analogy to this. Also, like when the first human was beat in chess by a machine, people were saying like, well, okay, since machines are better than humans, maybe people are going to watch two machines play against each other, because this is going to be the most interesting thing, because clearly they are more advanced, they have better technique, we can look at that kind of technique. But that never happened. There were never two machines playing each other.
Yeah, but who wants to watch that? Like, I would never.
No, you don't.
You would wanna. Would you wanna? Is the appeal to watch the human versus the machine?
No, not even that.
Not even that, exactly.
When the machine is involved, it just becomes like, okay, but this is cheating. The machine clearly is like smarter and better, and it's going to be more complex and more interesting chess, I guess. But it doesn't matter because there's no human involved.
Exactly.
So what you're looking at is actually that you want to see a little bit of a human failure and like misunderstanding and miscalculation and stuff like that.
Because it's nothing like drawing you to see that the machine is gonna beat the human.
No,
nobody really wants to see that.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. It becomes it's a little bit interesting, I guess, when you're right in the edge and like the machine is just learning how to beat the human, and being at that part of, I mean, it was a big game when I think it's well, it was the best human was playing the best chess in somewhere in the 90s, and it won. But having two robots against each other, I guess it's completely uninteresting.
No, at least not to me. I don't know. Maybe there are some people.
No, but I don't think there was no one.
I guess
liked
it. Like the way I look at it, because I did think about that. What does it do? So is it pushing then the best of the best chess players around the world to become even better? Like with these.
Oh, you would train with a machine and stuff like that. Is that what it is? No, it really is just a fun game they're playing. They're like saying, can a robot beat the best human?
Oh, right, okay.
So it really is just to see how advanced our technology is. It's nothing else than that.
Interesting.
I mean, it probably could be a way to kind of, improve your technique in chess and kind of, use sort of explainable AI to understand why the chess machine is making the moves.
Like build on strategies and things like that. Yeah.
But it still feels like we still want to have that sort of human connection, especially with sports and stuff like that. And art also,
it is really, I mean, for me on this, the way I see it, it's really unfair, because the robot or the machine is never going to feel tired.
No, exactly. And it doesn't take time, and it's just faster.
It's just going.
Exactly. So,
but interesting.
Yeah.
Should we maybe wrap it up?
Close it off.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much for listening. Yeah, listen to us with new episodes from time to time.
Yeah.
And anything else you want to just closing remarks?
Yeah, this was really fun. If any of you have any feedback for us, or answering some of the stuff we couldn't really fill in there during the episodes, let us know. And we have a couple of sessions lined up, so I hope you guys stay tuned.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah.